Hello students, welcome back. So let us continue with our next uh, part of the unit. Till now we have discussed about the operational amplifier, its internal block diagram. It has got 4 blocks: input stage, that is the first block, last is the output stage, and in between we have intermediate stage and level shifter stage. Then we have seen its important performance parameters like input resistance, output resistance, open loop gain, or input offset voltage, input offset current, then input bias current, like that. All these performance parameters basically they tell us how the op-amp will perform when we are using it for some application in an electronic circuit. Now with this information, with this knowledge, let us see how we can use it in the actual circuit. So when we start using it in the actual circuit, we can use it in two configurations. So one is known as open loop configuration, other one is known as closed loop configuration. Now open loop configuration means what? Loop means what? As all of you know, loop means, in this case, so you know that suppose this is the point, yeah. So if I start from this particular point and if I traverse a circle, then in that case what will happen is, for example, let us see, I'm at this point and I will start traversing from this point like this. I will traverse. Now see, if I come up to this point only and if I don't go back to this particular point where I started, so I started from this point, so I didn't came back to this point, so this part is not closed, it is not completed. So we call this traversing as open loop. Okay, the loop is not completed. And in closed loop what happens? Suppose if I'm at this point and if I start traversing and if I come back to the same point again, so we call this as closed loop. The loop is completed. Okay, so this is basically what is the open loop and closed loop configuration. Now in case of op-amp, what happens is that, see, we know that in case of op-amp its symbol is like this. All of you know its symbol is like this. So it has got inverting input, non-inverting input, and we have the output. So in this case, see, if we apply input here, that is VID, and if you get the output here, now see, here we are applying input, through this internal circuit it is being processed and this is sent to the output, and here we get the output. Okay, so in this case if I start from this point, I traverse up to this and then finished. So in this case the loop is not completed. So that's why if the op-amp is used in such configuration, then it is known as open loop configuration. Whereas in closed loop configuration, you can see what happens is that this is the op-amp. So we have this input and this is non-inverting input, so this is output. So this is VID. Okay, now if I take this output and again if I have some processing circuit here and if I give it back to the input, okay, so if I apply this back to the input in this fashion, then this is, now here see, if I start from this point, I go to output and again I am coming back here and I am coming back to the starting point. So this is known as closed loop configuration, and this circuit is known as feedback circuit. Okay, this is known as feedback circuit. So this is known as closed loop configuration. So we use op-amp in these two configurations. Now first we will see open loop configurations, and then we will see closed loop configurations. So in open loop configurations, how many inputs we are using, accordingly there are three configurations. As there are two inputs, so if I'm using inverting input, then we call it as a inverting amplifier configuration in open loop. If I'm using only one input and non-inverting, then we call it as non-inverting amplifier. If I'm using both, then it is known as difference amplifier. So we will see those configurations. Now see, this is the inverting amplifier in open loop configuration. So you can see here, we have the op-amp. This is op-amp symbol. Here I am getting the output. Here we have the inverting input. The potential at this terminal is V2. This is non-inverting input. Potential at this terminal is V1. The difference is VID. That is the net input to the op-amp is VID. Okay. Now here what I am doing, inverting terminal I have connected to the supply, that is V in. Non-inverting terminal I have connected to the ground. So I am using only one terminal. So this is the inverting amplifier in open loop configuration. Now in this case, this is the input VID. So my output will be equal to, gain is A. So this is A into VID. So we know that VID is equal to what? VID is equal to V1 minus V2. Okay. So as V1 is 0 in this case, this will be equal to minus V2. So as VID is equal to minus V2, and we know that this V2 is equal to V in, because we have applied input to the non-inverting terminal. So this V2 is equal to V in. So that's why if I put the value of VID, that is minus VI2, V2 is V in, so my VID will be equal to minus V in. Okay. So if I put this into the formula for VO, then I will get this output. Okay. Now in this case, this negative sign indicates that it is inverting amplifier. So whatever, if I apply negative input, my output will be positive. If I apply positive input, my output will be negative. So this minus sign indicates that it is inverting amplifier. A is the gain of the amplifier. As it is in open loop configuration, this is open loop gain. Okay. So in this way we have the output. So this is inverting amplifier in open loop configuration. Then similarly, we have non-inverting amplifier in open loop configuration. So here the difference is what? We are just applying input to the non-inverting terminal, and inverting terminal is connected to the ground. So in this case, again the same formula is there. We have the same formula. So in this case, as you can see, your VO will be equal to A into VID. But now in this case, what will happen? Same. VID is equal to what? V1 minus V2. Okay. So here V2 is 0 volt, V1 is equal to V in volt. So if I put V1 in this case, my VID will be equal to V in. So if I put VID value into this, so if I put this value of VID into this, I will get this equation, A into V in. And in this case, as the polarity of the output is positive, so if my input is positive, output will be positive. If my input is negative, output will be negative. So the input and output, they will be in the same phase, or output will not be inverted. So it is a non-inverting amplifier, again in open loop configuration. Okay. Then difference amplifier. So difference amplifier in open loop configuration is what? It is basically the combination of inverting and non-inverting amplifier. So we are applying both inputs now, V in 1 to the inverting non-inverting input, and V in 2 to the inverting input. So in this case, again the formula is same. So VO will be equal to A into VID. So here VID is equal to V1 minus V2, and V1 is equal to V in 1, V2 is equal to V in 2. So in this case, my final formula will be A into V in 1 minus V in 2. So in this case, my VO is directly proportional to the difference between the two inputs, that is V in 1 minus V in 2. Okay, and that's why we are calling this as difference amplifier. Okay. Now here in all these circuits, I have shown, see here in all circuits I have shown this RL is greater than or equal to 2 kilo ohm. So this is what basically whatever the values of, suppose for example for 741, A is how much? 2 into 10 to the power 5. So this value is specified for the load which is greater than or equal to 2 kilo ohm. So that's why I have shown nothing else. So these are the three open loop configurations of op-amp. Now in all these open loop configurations they have some drawbacks. Okay, now which drawbacks? So first one is they have too narrow linear range of operation. Okay, now see, we have seen in the output characteristics of the op-amp, we have seen that op-amp operates in the linear range, in the range of this VID max plus VID max to minus VID max. Okay, this is the linear range of operation. Beyond this, op-amp goes into non-linear range of operation. Now, what is this value of VID plus VID max and minus VID max in open loop configuration? That we will see. See, for example, you know that VO is equal to A into VID. Okay. Now, for 741 op-amp, see, for this 741 op-amp, plus minus VO max is equal to plus minus 13 volt, and we know that A is equal to 2 into 10 to the power 5. So here, see, plus minus VID max will be equal to what? VO max plus minus divided by A. So what will be this? This will be plus minus 13 divided by 2 into 10 to the power 5. Okay. So in this case, this plus minus VID max, this will be equal to 65 microvolt. Okay, so it will be 65 microvolt. So see, this 65 microvolt means this is the linear range of operation, 65 microvolt. Okay, plus minus 65 microvolt, or if you talk about the entire range, it will be 130 microvolt. So 130 microvolt linear range of operation is very, very narrow. If I want to use op-amp, for example, to amplify my voice, then my voice signal is also in the millivolt range. Okay, so I can't amplify my voice because it cannot work as an amplifier, it goes into saturation. So that's why this linear range is too narrow. Okay, if we are using op-amp in the open loop configuration, so I should have the wider range so that I can amplify variety of signals of different strengths. Okay, that is one. Then the next important point is, so this is about this point. Okay, that is the narrow linear range. Then next is about the narrow bandwidth. Now we know that for 741 this UGB is how much? 1 megahertz. Okay, now see, this is the bandwidth for unity gain. When the gain is 2 into 10 to the power 5, at that time what will be my bandwidth? My bandwidth will be this 1 megahertz divided by 2 into 10 to the power 5. So this will be what? This will be 5 hertz. So this will be my bandwidth, 5 hertz. So this is too narrow, because if I want to amplify voice signal, we know that voice signal starts from 20 hertz and it is up to 20 kilohertz. So voice signal I can't amplify. So this 5 hertz bandwidth is too narrow. Okay, we should have wider bandwidth so that variety of signals we can amplify by using the op-amp. So this is the another problem. Then another problem is that when we are using this op-amp in the circuit for a long time, it gets heated. Again, it is a semiconductor device, so it is means susceptible to the temperature. So its internal conditions change and its gain changes. So gain doesn't remain stable, whereas in most of the circuits we require stable gain. Another important point is that in most of the circuits we require adjustable gain. So where this gain cannot be adjusted in open loop configuration because it is fixed to 10 to the power 5. So for any device, it may not be exactly 2 into 10 to the power 5, it will be near to that, but whatever it is, it will be fixed. We can't adjust. So we can't have the adjustable and stable gain. So all these are the drawbacks. And the solution to this is what? Feedback. Okay. Specifically, we can use negative feedback. Now, before we go to the negative feedback, we will see what is feedback. Okay. So feedback is what? Basically taking some part of the output or complete output and feeding it back to the input. So it is known as feedback. So basically this feedback signal is what? It is the output taken and again applied at the input. So we call it as, means we call that as the feedback signal. So to take the required portion of the output to be fed back to the input as feedback, so we use again some circuit, which is basically a voltage divider circuit, and we call that circuit as feedback circuit. Now depending on means what quantity is taken, means whether we have taken voltage or current, okay, as the signal from the output, and how it is fed back to the input, okay, with respect to the existing input. So there are 4 different types of feedbacks, like voltage series feedback, voltage shunt feedback, current series feedback, current shunt feedback. Okay, so these are the 4 different types of feedback. So voltage series or voltage shunt means what? Here output signal which we fed back to the input is the voltage, and in current feedback the output signal which we fed back to the input is the current. Then series feedback means what? If your feedback signal is in series with the existing input, we call it as series feedback. If your feedback signal is in parallel with the existing input, we call it as shunt feedback. So accordingly, these are the 4 types. Now, as our op-amp is voltage amplifier, so in op-amp only first 2 types of feedback, voltage series and voltage shunt, these 2 are used. Okay, so in op-amp we use voltage series feedback and voltage shunt feedback. Now the next, depending on the polarity of the feedback signal with respect to the existing input signal, there are 2 types of feedback. One is positive feedback, another one is negative feedback. So if the polarity of the feedback signal is same as that of the input signal, then it is known as positive feedback. Okay, and in this case, obviously, as the polarity of both is same, so in this case the feedback signal will be added with the existing signal and the net input increases, and because of that your output will increase and this will increase the gain. Okay, whereas in negative feedback, if the polarity of your feedback signal is exactly opposite to the existing input, then we call this feedback as negative feedback. So in this case, as the polarity of the feedback signal is opposite to the existing signal, obviously the feedback signal will get subtracted from the input, and because of that the net input will decrease, and this will have the impact on the gain will also decrease. Okay, so op-amp uses negative feedback to overcome all the drawbacks whatever we have discussed now in open loop configuration. Okay, so how that is done, that we will come to know when we will see the actual feedback circuit. Okay, now in closed loop configuration also, similar to the open loop configuration, we have 3 different configurations depending on whether we are using only one input or we are using both the inputs. If we are using both the inputs, we call that configuration as a difference amplifier in closed loop configuration. And if we are using only one input, and in that if we are using inverting, we call it as inverting amplifier in closed loop configuration. And obviously other will be if you are using non-inverting input, so we call it as non-inverting amplifier configuration in closed loop. Now we will see how basically we can have these. So we are going to study only inverting amplifier and non-inverting amplifier in the closed loop configuration. Difference amplifier we are not going to study. Now in this case, you can see here, okay, so you can see here now this is our op-amp, symbolically it is represented. Okay, so these are the 2 inputs, inverting and non-inverting. Here we get the output. Now here what we have done is, this output signal, this output voltage we have tapped, and we have taken the part of that output by using, see here in this case we have this R1, okay, and RF. Okay, so these 2 basically they form a feedback circuit. Okay, so these 2 they form the feedback circuit. Okay, now the next, So they form the feedback circuit. Okay. Then next, this feedback we call it as voltage shunt feedback. In op amp it is a voltage feedback always, so this is known as voltage shunt feedback. Why? Because in this case, see, we know that in case of two sources, for example, this is my one, that is V in, okay, and if this is positive polarity, this is negative polarity. So if I have this as the feedback signal, okay, and if this is its positive and this is negative polarity, and if I will connect these two in this fashion, okay, and if this is going to the input, okay, then this is known as voltage shunt feedback. Shunt means parallel. So my feedback signal is in parallel with the input signal. Now the exactly same thing happens here, because in this case, see, as I told you, this feedback circuit is what? Feedback circuit is basically this circuit formed by RF and R1. RF and R1 basically they act as the voltage divider circuit, and whatever the potential is there across R1, this potential is the feedback signal which is applied at the input. Okay, and in this case, see, what happens is that the current flows through this R1 in this direction. Okay, so if the current is flowing in this direction, this is plus and this is minus. For V in, this is plus and this is minus. Okay, now see, the positive and the potential across this R1 is our VF. Okay, so for this VF, this plus is connected to the plus, and this minus is also, actually this is minus where the minus of V1 is connected to the ground. Okay, this is connected to the ground. So this terminal is also connected to the ground. Just now we will see that. So this is also ground. So these two are shorted. So similarly, means VF and V in, they will be in parallel. So this is known as voltage shunt feedback. Now the next important point is how this inverting amplifier works. Okay, now we have seen that, see, we have seen that the gain of this amplifier in open loop is A. Okay, and we know that A is equal to what? A is equal to VO upon VID. Okay, so this already we know. Now the next important point is what? Let gain with feedback is AF. Okay, so this AF, gain with feedback, will be equal to what? This will be equal to VO divided by Vin. This is known as gain with feedback. So how much is the gain with feedback for this, that we will see. Okay, now in this case let us say, first, to simplify the analysis, we will assume that our op amp is ideal. Okay, so if my op amp is ideal, then my A will be equal to what? Infinite. My Ri will be what? Infinite ohm. My RO will be what? 0 ohm. Okay, my IB will be equal to what? 0. Okay, IIO will be 0. So my op amp is ideal op amp. Now in this case, what will happen is that see, in this, as we have seen this equation, A is equal to VO upon VID. Okay, now with this equation, see, if my op amp is ideal, then in this case my VID will be equal to what? VID will be equal to VO upon A. Okay, but A is infinity, so this will be equal to VO upon infinity, so this will be equal to 0 volt. But we know that VID is equal to what? V1 minus V2 is equal to 0. So what will happen in this case? Your V1 will be equal to V2. Okay, V1 will be equal to V2 volt. But now in this case, V1 is how much? 0 volt. So because of this, your V2 will also be at 0 volt. Okay, but see, this V2 is not physically let us say This is equation 1. Okay, but as this V2 is not physically connected to the ground, this is known as virtual ground. Okay, see, as we have seen, it is written here. See, this is the virtual ground. Okay, so this VG means virtual ground. So this V2 point is known as virtual ground, means it is a ground but not connected physically to the ground, so it is known as virtual ground. Okay, now with this information, what will happen is that with this information what we will do is now let us say we will find out AF. Okay, so to find out AF, what we will do is, you know that, see, this in the circuit at node M, okay, let us apply KCL, Kirchhoff's current law. So let us say current flowing through R1 is I in, current flowing through RF is IF, current flowing through the input terminal, inverting input terminal is IB2. Okay, so in this case, if you apply Kirchhoff's current law at the junction, then you will have I in is equal to IF plus IB2. Okay, but as op amp is ideal, IB2 is equal to 0. Okay, so your final expression will be I in is equal to IF. Okay, now here we have to apply Ohm's law. Now I in is what? It is the current flowing through R1. So that is equal to what? Potential across R1 divided by R1. Now what is the potential difference across R1? So current is flowing from V in towards V2, so it will be V in minus V2 divided by R1 is equal to, this will be V2 minus VO divided by RF. Okay, so we know that here V2 is 0, so this will be equal to V in upon R1 is equal to minus VO upon RF. So this I can write as VO upon V in is equal to minus, this is RF. Okay, so this will be equal to VO upon V in is equal to minus RF upon R1, and this is equal to AF. Okay, okay, so this is equation 1. So I in is equal to IF, let us say this is equation 2, and this AF, equation for AF, this is equation 3. Now this equation 3 indicates that minus sign means it is inverting amplifier. Okay, now my gain is decided by R1 and RF. So my gain is not decided by op amp now. So in the previous case we have seen in open loop configuration, as the gain is decided by op amp, and as the temperature changes its value changes, so it was not stable, as well as it was not adjustable. So in this case you can see as the gain is now dependent on the external components, so it will not be dependent on op amp's conditions, so it will be stable. And if I make RF or R1 or both variable, I can have the adjustable gain also. Okay, so because of this my problems will be solved. Okay, now the next important point is this RF upon R1, how much gain you want, so you can adjust the gain by choosing proper values of RF and R1, and this value of the gain AF is very less as compared to the gain A, and as the value of this gain is less, so your linear range of operation will be wider, your bandwidth will also be wider, and in this way all those drawbacks will also be overcome in this case. So this is the inverting amplifier, and in this inverting amplifier now you may be asked numerical. So this is the numerical which is asked on this. So and op amp is used in inverting mode with R1 is equal to 1 kilo ohm, RF is equal to 15 kilo ohm, and VCC is also given. So we have to calculate the output voltage for the following inputs: V in 150 millivolt and V in equal to 2 volt. Okay, so in this case R1 RF is given, VCC is also given, so we know that output is equal to minus RF upon R1 because it's inverting amplifier into V in. So in the first case your output will be, so in the first case our output will be minus 2.25 volt, so this will be the output. Simple calculation is there. In the second case it will be this into 2 volt, so this will be minus 30 volt, but as my VCC is plus minus 15 volt, my output cannot be 30 volt, so my output plus minus means VO max is equal to, at the most for ideal op amp it is plus minus VCC, and we have considered that our op amp is ideal, so your output cannot be more than 15 volts, its magnitude cannot be more than 15 volts. So that's why, so our output in the second case will be maximum VO plus minus 15 volt. So my output will be minus 15 volt. It cannot be minus 30 volt. So this is the solution. So like this simple numerical will be asked to you. You can solve that. Now next is the non-inverting amplifier in the closed loop configuration. So here the difference is what? Only the difference is we have applied this V into the non-inverting input, and again we have the same feedback circuit formed by RF and R1. Okay, now whatever the feedback signal is there across R1, it comes in series with V in. So this type of feedback, this is known as, so yeah, so this particular circuit, it uses voltage series feedback. Okay, now there is a problem in writing with the pen, so no problem. So this is a voltage series feedback. Now next we will see how it works. So everything is same. We will assume that our op amp is ideal, so its gain, open loop gain, is infinite. Input bias currents are 0, input offset current is also 0, input resistance is infinite, output resistance is 0. So if you consider all these things, and the same means solution we can have in the same way. So here we will apply KCL at node M. So if you apply that, you will have the equation I in is equal to IB2 plus IF. So as op amp is ideal, IB2 will be 0, so your I in will be equal to IF. Okay, now by using Ohm's law, you can put the values of I in and IF. So I in is the current flowing through V1, so it will be 0 minus V2 divided by R1 is equal to, this will be V2 minus VO divided by RF. Okay, again in this case this V1 will be equal to V2 because VID is 0 because of A is infinity. So as in this case our V1 is equal to V in, so your V2 will also be equal to V in. So this is the condition. Now if you put the value of V2, that is equal to V in the above equation, and if you rearrange that, then you will have AF is equal to VO upon V in. So if you find this, you will get this as equal to 1 plus RF by R1. Okay, so here also the gain of the op amp is now decided by RF and R1. So by making both variable or any one variable, we can have the adjustable gain. AF is quite less than A, so because of that your linear operating range will be wider, bandwidth will also be wider, and in this case you can have the stable adjustable gain, so all those drawbacks will be avoided. So this is a non-inverting configuration. In here the phase difference between the input and output will be 0 degrees, because in this case as your AF is positive, if your input is positive, output will be positive. If your input is negative, output will be negative. So based on this also you will be asked a numerical. Simple numerical is there. In the non-inverting amplifier, V in is 4 volt, input resistance is 1 kilo ohm, and output resistance resistor is having a resistance of 2 kilo ohm. Find out the voltage. Okay, so in this case your same formula you have to use. VO is equal to AF into V in. AF is 1 plus RF by R1 into V in. So in this case, it is given our input resistance means R1 is 1 kilo ohm, our output resistance means it is a feedback resistance, so it is 2 kilo ohm, and we can put these values and you will get VO is equal to 12 volt. So normally if nothing is given, we can consider that our op-amp is 741 and its maximum output is plus minus 13 volt. So if it is below that, means no problem, you can have the output equal to 12 volt. So in this way we can solve this numerical. So this is about the non-inverting amplifier in closed loop configuration. So here we will stop. So this is all about the op-amp and its use. So we have discussed about only inverting amplifier and non-inverting amplifier in the closed loop configuration. Okay, so this is all about the op-amp. So here our analog electronics part is over. So here we will stop. If you have any doubts, you can ask me on WhatsApp or you can call me and we can solve the queries. So here we will stop, and in the next class we will start with the digital electronics. Thank you.